Hey there everybody, Onurubu here. I'm started recording this right off the bat of the previous one. Like literally, I just pressed the end recording button and then press the start recording button. Literally picking up because I don't want to stop playing. I'm really intrigued as to what's gonna happen next. But yeah, so we found two 9 doors, and there's a gun that we left behind, and a lot of other stuff to take note of. Yet let's just see what goes on now. Junpei shook the door handle pointlessly and muttered to himself.
Why the hell are there two doors?
Maybe so that, like, 2 people can get out, I don't know. Like, 2 teams can get out? It was Santo answered.
There were always 2 doors. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it.
It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
Of course, we just assumed that there was only one. After all, why would there be more than one?
Oh, man. We fell for it. There are 2 doors. That means that all 9 people who had met at the central staircase could escape. No one would be left behind. Now it makes sense why the bracelets are numbers. 1 divided into teams of 4 and 5 people. The digital root of both teams ends up being 9. Take 1278 and 34569 for example. The digital root for both teams would be 9. Or 2349 and 15678. The digital root is still 9. There are a bunch of combinations that work and they all end up the same way. If one team has the digital root of 9, so would the other one. What does that mean? The answer's simple. From the very beginning, the Nonary game was designed to save all 9 people. That's how it was meant to be. Zero didn't lie. He never said there'd be only one 9 door. But anyone who'd found themselves in the game would have assumed that was the case. Fights would have broken out.
I'm glad that less fights are broken out. I was terrified. I was thinking of who we'd have to leave behind and stuff.
One team would likely betray or deceive the other. Someone might be hurt. Someone might get killed. But eventually,
which is exactly what happened.
They'd reach this very same room and realize how pointless all their infighting was.
Yikes.
There were 2 doors. There was no need to kill each other.
They'd understand and be appalled, overwhelmed with the guilt of what they'd done.
This game was designed for that purpose. This Nonary game. We were all arguing and fighting over doors at the beginning. But if there had been one slip-up, one tiny mistake that led to more, everything could have been so much worse.
Exactly, dude. I'm so surprised things haven't been much worse than they are now. The thought of it sent a chill down his spine.
So, what are we going to do, Junpei?
A voice broke through Junpei's frantic thoughts. Sanda's voice.
Oh, right.
Hey, keep it together, man.
Sorry.
Jeez. So what do we do?
What do you...
We need to think about our next step.
Let me think. So let's say 3, 6. I don't know. I don't know if there's any combination of the 7 of us that can get us both through both those doors. 3, 6, 4, 5. That's 9. Left. This is just the first one I thought about. 3, 6, 4, 5. 1, 7, 8. That's 7. I don't know if there's any combination of our group that can lead to a digital root of 9.
Our numbers are 1, 3, 5, and 6. That's a digital root of 6.
The 4 of us can't open the number 9 door.
The 4? Wait, don't tell me.
Yep. There's one combination that'll let 3 of us open the 9 door. That's why I'm asking, what now?
What now?
Took him no time at all to determine the answer. There was only one combination of 3 people that would give a digital root of 9. 3 plus 5 plus leave June behind. Leave June behind? Unlux, bro. I'm not leaving June behind. Your 3 plus 5 plus 1 can go fuck itself.
No, we gotta go back.
That wasn't a possibility he was willing to consider. Santa and Ace agreed.
I agree. We cannot leave June behind.
Junpei let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding.
Are you sure? I don't mind staying.
June's body betrayed her true feelings. Her eyes were wet with the beginnings of tears and her legs
It's
shook.
okay. There's no way we'd leave you behind.
Santa had realized what Junpei had known the moment he realized which three people could go through the
Besides, I'd rather drown at the bottom of the ocean than escape with this sausage fest.
door. Okay, now that might be a bit too far.
Maybe I'll get to go to Atlanta.
Excuse me. You mean Atlantis?
Are you sure you don't mean Atlantis?
I think he means Atlantis.
Huh? Oh, right.
I don't think you mean Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know if it's a city. I know it's in Georgia in America. I don't know if it's a city or whatever it is. Junpei, keep it down. Perhaps it was a sudden reassurance that no one wanted to leave June behind, but Junpei's laughed harder than he had in some time. Santa and Ace smiled.
You guys.
June blinked, tears from her eyes, and bit her lip. Seemed to know what else to say. Okay, so let's try this. So let's try 4, 6, 7, 8. So Andax.
Very well. Best we head back to C deck then. We should be able to take the elevator we passed earlier.
There is no combination that will give us. There is no combination that will give us 2 teams of 9.
Perhaps Clover, 7, and Lotus will have returned from door 1.
We're missing a 2. We're missing a snake. Even as Ace spoke, they knew finding the others wouldn't improve the situation.
Even with all 7 of us.
Ace knew it. They all knew it.
Standing around here isn't going to accomplish anything, don't you agree? Let's find the other 3 first, and then search for another solution.
I guess you're right.
All right, let's go.
Ace looked at all 3 of them, turned and headed toward the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Santa and June followed. Junpei started toward the door and then stopped.
Come to think of it, what is this room?
It's a chapel. Didn't seem terribly important now, but what exactly was it?
We were so focused on the doors, we didn't even look around.
A red carpet ran between 2 columns of wooden benches that ran the length of the room.
It looks like it's set up for some kind of ceremony. But what kind?
Facing the 9 door was the carpet leading to the bow of the ship. At the end... was it an altar, perhaps? There was a small rectangular alcove at the end of the carpet, and inside the alcove was a raised platform. Resting on top of the platform was a coffin.
A coffin? What on earth is a coffin doing in a place like
Dude, we
this?
just saw a coffin in the frickin' freight, like the warehouse place. Before Junpei had time to answer that question,
Hey, Junpei! The hell are you doing? Let's move!
Santa's voice echoed from the hall outside.
Right, okay. I'll be right there.
Junpei turned on his heel and left the quiet, somber room. Excuse me. No, that's creepy. No, that's creepy, that's creepy, that's creepy. Please stop, please stop, please stop, please stop. Please stop, that's so creepy. No, that creeped me out. What happened? Why'd that cutscene skip? They took the elevator up to C deck. Once they were there, they headed back toward the main hall and the central staircase. There's a choice to make now. Leave no one behind. Maybe that was a spoiler and I should not have done that. It didn't take them long.
Look, it's...
7 and Lotus.
They didn't look happy.
We've got a problem.
What?
Clover is gone.
Excuse me. Junpei and his 3 companions looked at one another, turned back to 7 and Lotus.
What do you mean, gone?
Santa, Ace, and June had their own questions to ask.
When?
Why?
You 2 went into door 1 with Clover, didn't you?
7 and Lotus responded as best they could.
Yeah, we went through the door together.
But Clover barely spoke to us.
She just did her own thing the whole time.
There were 4 rooms on the other side of door 1.
She wouldn't let us into the 4th room.
She just said, I'll take care of this one.
And shut the door.
She must have blocked it with something on the other side.
The We waited for a while, but Clover didn't come out.
We called for her, but she didn't answer.
So I kicked down the door and we went into the room.
But
It was empty.
Clover wasn't there.
There was a door on the other wall.
Was Clover the one in the coffin?
And it was open.
We figure she opened the door and left by herself.
We ran after her, of course, but
Well, obviously we didn't find her. We figured that much out.
Clover's gone.
Junpei thought for a moment.
When did this happen?
We got here just before you.
You certainly have excellent timing.
So you haven't searched anywhere other than near the staircase?
No, we haven't.
Finally, Ace spoke. His voice had an edge of resolve and concern.
Very well then. We'd best separate and look for Clover. We haven't much time left. Let's begin.
Yeah.
There were quick nods all around, and the 6 remaining players spread out. Junpei and June ran to the central hospital room and
She's
looked
not
around.
here.
No, she isn't.
They searched a little longer, but no luck. Couldn't find Clover.
There's no sign of her. Let's go.
Finally, they gave up and left the central hospital room. Slowly, they made their way back to the hallway. At last, they reached the stairs and Junpei spoke.
Alright, I'm thinking we should probably split up. I'll head back to the stairs and take the elevator down to E deck. June, you can take the stairs up to B deck.
All right, that sounds good. But,
What?
could you stop calling me by that code name when we're alone?
Huh? Oh, sure, right. I'll do that.
There was a reason Junpei persisted on calling her June even when they were alone. Although perhaps not the best reason. He was embarrassed to call her by the nickname he'd used when they were children, Kani. 9 years ago, it came naturally after all. They were children. 9 years ago! Now that they were adults, it felt strange. Regardless of what he might hope for, to call a woman he wasn't dating by such a childish nickname felt odd to him. Of course, he could call her Ms. Kurashiki would be even more awkward, and simply Kurashiki would seem a little brusque. And although he couldn't put his finger on why, he felt somewhat forward to call her Akane when they hadn't seen one another for so long. In short, it was simply easier for him to call her June and leave it at
Jumpy.
that.
Oh, no, it's nothing.
All right,
Frickin'
I'm going then.
Frickin' Japan and they name things, dude.
Yeah, be careful.
Kani. June, or perhaps a more appropriately Kani, blushed and
You
smiled.
be careful too, Jumpy.
Aww.
Yeah, got it. Take care.
Junpei looked after her for a moment as she ran up the stairs and then turned around and took off for the hallway. Tragedy always strikes when one least expects it. Tragedy always strikes when one least expects it. What does that mean? What are we gonna see? Oh, I'm not ready. I'm probably not gonna be ready for what I see. But to wait for a man to stand before striking him down seems almost crueler than dealing the fatal blow while he lies on the ground. A light in a dark place. June's smile had given him hope, both for the escape and possibly for something else. It was that hope that raised his spirits just enough that they might soon be fully dashed. He opened the elevator door and there she was. A woman sat slouched against the wall. Lotus. Junpei felt his blood turn to ice. Her body was limp and her skin smooth and pale as always. It's covered in bright red blood. Junpei felt his chest constrict, couldn't breathe, and his legs began to shake. Once again, I've been constricted into one path of this novel. A slow, cold drop of sweat trickled down his back. He felt his stomach somersault. Junpei's mind went blank, all his thoughts replaced with endless hissing white. Driven by little more than instinct, he began to walk towards Lotus slowly. Each slow movement of his stiff limbs brought him closer to her corpse. Finally, he stood next to her. Robotically, he bent down and put his hand against her neck. There was no pulse, no rise and fall of her breathing. She was slightly warm. Something somewhere in Junpei's shaken mind told him that meant she had been killed recently. Yet, Junpei thought, his mind slowly returning, she had been killed. Someone had killed her. There was a deep cut in the left side of her chest. Blood was still oozed from it, although clearly her heart had stopped beating some time ago. Is it an axe wound? And not that kind of axe wound, you know what I'm talking about. The weapon had been a knife then? Okay, not an axe. Perhaps she had been stabbed in the heart once. She would have died immediately. Took little comfort from knowing she must have suffered very little. Only then did Junpei notice. Lotus's bracelet was gone.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1. You escape from this ship.
Or your heart rate reaches 0.
Your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or the parasitic Mary's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically.
Is that why the killer had ended Lotus's life? So that they might have the number 8 bracelet? If that was true, then the killer was whoever wanted the number 8 bracelet. Perhaps more accurately, the person who would gain the most by obtaining a bracelet number 8. Who is that? Who would benefit the most from number 8 bracelet? Thought had only just entered Junpei's mind when someone stabbed him. Unlugs. He heard a noise, a sound like a sharp knife cutting through wet meat. It struck him as strange that the noise came from inside his own body. A moment later, the pain hit him. It wasn't merely pain, there was heat, extreme heat as well. He felt as though molten iron had been splashed against the side of his body. Finally, his brain made the connection. He had been stabbed. But where? His body was quickly going numb. He couldn't tell where the knife had met his flesh. Given the circumstance, however, he had most likely been stabbed in the back. Whoever had killed Lotus had now done the same to Junpei as well. His voice was little more than a weak groan. With what little strength he had left, Junpei turned his body, trying to catch a glimpse of his attacker. But as he did, the knife dug itself deeper, twisting viciously. Collapsed to the floor, a puppet with its strings cut. His arms and legs lay where they fell, oddly twisted and awkwardly positioned. Junpei's body was entirely numb. He could feel the blood leaking out of him, but nothing would move. Nothing save his eyes. As he lay on the floor, his life ebbing away, Junpei finally saw his attacker. 2 tiny images of the killer reflected in his eyes. That recognition came nothing. He felt no emotions, not anger, not sadness, not regret. The paralysis that claimed his body had reached his mind. His killer glanced down at his body. Then, without a word, climbed the elevator and was gone. His eyesight began to fade, the world grew blurry and began to dissolve into an empty white fog. The fog crept into edges of his mind and worked inexorably inward. Soon it swallowed up the last that remained of Junpei's mind and consciousness left him. There was nothing more. Into utter emptiness he fell, into 0. Whatever Junpei had been was gone. Bad end? Yeah, bad end. So this one gets the bad end, yet the submarine is technically not a bad end. Yes, I would like to save this. Knife. Ah, that was the shittest ending so far. What the fuck? Okay, cool. Where do I go? Where do I go? I don't know where to go, bro. I do not know. What are these red keys? What are these red keys for? Why did T appear now? No, bro. What the? No. Why are there more? Why is there more stuff to do? Oof. Well, this has been a short video so far, so it's not correct to end it. However, I do need to go to the bathroom. Give me a couple seconds. I'll be back. Well, for you guys, it'll be an instant. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. So yeah, I had a quick little break. I let that ending settle in, and that ending really doesn't add anything, dude. The rest of the endings add a bunch of like interesting stuff to think about, like the axe ending made you realize the Clover's mental state wasn't really great, and she was very, very committed on committing murder. The submarine ending got you a lot of info about, like, the pharmaceutical company. I forgot its name. I forgot the name of the pharmaceutical company that owned Seven and Lotus's histories, and also, like, brought you, like, made you realize that there is a killer on board the ship, as well as a lot of other stuff. The knife ending was shit, dude. It's shit. So anyway, continuing this episode, again, every time I use this, dude, like every time I freaking pause the video, pause the recording, and I resume as if it's been a long time for you guys. For you guys, it's literally been an instant. And I keep forgetting that. But anyway, so I've done some planning, just thinking about how I'm going to proceed from this point on. So, these red locks have appeared. Imposing. I've decided before, so I've unlocked these white locks, and I'm guessing that's because I, like, accepted the bookmark from, Santa. So I'm gonna go through this, I'm gonna finish the white check marks first, and then, only then I'm gonna go back to the red ones. And now that I've done every single basic route as far as I can, I have turned skip text on, so now I'm just trying to wrap up all the endings. And get to a true ending if it exists. I don't know if a true ending exists, dude. Cool, so I guess we're doing this. This escape room. Let's go to the 7 door. For a moment, they stood in front of the door. 7 took a deep breath.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go.
Yep, let's go. So this is before Snake dies. Quotation marks.
It's open.
A narrow hallway stretched out before them. 7 and Clover leapt through
Let's
the door.
do this!
Hurry!
The moment they did, their bracelets beeped. The detonators in the bracelets had been activated. Junpei stepped forward to follow them. But as he was about to step over the threshold, he stopped. June, I got it. Yeah. I thought I had to skip text on, bro. The farewell took almost 1.5 seconds.
What the hell are you doing, Jun?
Junpei was grabbed, and someone took hold of Junpei's arms and hauled him bodily through the floor. He heard the sound of the numbered door slam shut behind him. His bracelets gave a cold electronic beep.
Only 81! No time to waste, guys! Let's get moving!
After what seemed like far more than 81 seconds, they reached the end of the hall.
The door on the left! I can see the dead!
There was no time to rest or catch their breath. All three slammed their hands in quick succession over the scanner panel on the dead. Still trying to catch his breath, 7 leaned heavily against the wall.
It stopped. It stopped.
Cool. Glad. His smile seemed forced and a little crooked.
This is the second time we've gone through one of these numbered doors, but whew.
He stood up straight, no longer out of breath, and wiped some of the sweat from his head and neck. Clover smirked at him.
I would have thought a guy your size would have bigger balls than that.
What? What the hell did you just say? Say it again! I dare you!
You have no...
You little... You wanna die?
This isn't Danganronpa
I'd like to see you
V3.
try.
You fucking brat! Alright, let's go!
Hey, calm down, guys. This isn't the time for this.
Yeah, dude.
It's not gonna do us any good.
Dude, I thought I had skip text on. Junpei sighed. Sometimes he wondered if the doors and the puzzles were really the greatest challenge they
Wait
faced.
here for a minute, alright? I'm gonna go see if there are any other doors.
They didn't respond, but Junpei wasn't in the mood for a conversation anyway.
We just came through this door. And of course it's shut tight.
There's a short hallway on the left here, and an iron wall. I doubt I can get through it.
At last, he gave up and returned to 7, who was tapping lightly on the wooden door.
This door's the only option we've got, right?
Let's go.
Yeah, looks like...
Let's do the operating room.
Hey, something's written on the door. On that iron plate.
It says operating room. If this thing's telling the truth, there could be body parts inside here.
Yikes.
Well, this is probably not going to be pleasant.
Something about him made Junpei feel nervous.
Well, there's no point to standing around. Might as well go in and see what's waiting for.
7 grabbed the brass knob and slowly opened the door. The creak of the hinge sounded like the groan of an old woman.
What's wrong?
No, it's nothing.
Chill snaked its way down Junpei's spine.
Let's just go.
Quickly, he gathered what courage he could and took the first step into the room. Seven followed with Clover right behind him. I am recording, right? I did unpause the recording. Yes, I did. Thank you.
Huh?
Part of the room was just past the door. Part of the room just past the door was obscured by a
What
screen.
the hell is this?
Why don't we take a look?
Hey, Clover!
Clover's curiosity got the better of her, and she darted past Junpei to peer around the screen. Excuse me. A scream nearly blew out Junpei's eardrums.
Clover!
He and Seven ran toward Clover to see what had frightened
Hey,
her.
what's wrong?
They rounded the screen, and the cause of her outburst was immediately clear. Do I have to press something for skip text?
What the?
No, I don't want adventure. Yo, keep pressing the wrong button. Sorry, I'm just messing around the menus. Okay. Okay, there we go.
This is...
What the hell? That's just a huge doll or something.
Doll?
Clover did not look terribly comforted. Slowly she approached the operating table and looked as intently as possible, from as far away as possible, at the thing. Junpei could see her relax.
You're right. It's only a doll. Man, it really scared me.
She heaved a great sigh of relief and wiped a few drops of sweat from her hair. Am I wasting my time? Can I just go like this? Operating room. Chemical closet. Okay, I just realized that these ones
Do you
exist.
think we should go back?
Yeah, I think that's probably best.
I am just wasting my time. Clover nodded and left. Junpei was about to follow when he realized that Seven wasn't following suit.
Hey, Seven, what's up?
Oh, well,
He looked up at Junpei distractedly and then back down at the brown bottle he held cupped in his hand, large hand.
Is that a medicine bottle?
I got curious about it. Here,
In response, Seven tossed the bottle gently to Junpei. Caught it and twisted around to read the label.
Ethylene diamine tartrate?
yeah, that's right. CDT.
What kind of medicine is that?
It's not medicine. I think it's an industrial strength detergent.
Why would they have something like that here?
Well, probably to clean stuff up.
Clean what up?
Sorry for like wasting your time a bit for the. I was just trying to figure out the interface and stuff.
I know. Still, it looks like it's cleaned my brain up.
Junpei looked up from the bottle.
You remember something?
Yeah.
Seven nodded slowly and spoke.
Well, I remember a story about EDT. Happened about 50 years ago. There was this factory
I remember,
somewhere
I
in
remember.
America making big old EDT crystals.
This is similar to the Ice 9 story.
They were making it to sell as an industrial strength cleaner, like I told you before. But a year after the factory started up, something strange started happening with the crystals they were building. Water molecules started attaching themselves to the EDT crystals. This made them into a sort of mutation of the original crystals, called a hydrate. Once the crystals turn into a hydrate, though, it's useless as a cleaner. The factory had to just dump the crystals. As a hydrate, they were useless. But it didn't end there. After that day, the same thing started happening in EDT factories everywhere, even ones nowhere near that first American factory. They'd been making crystals the same way, with the same materials and the same equipment and environment. But now, all of a sudden, every single crystal they formed turned into a hydrate. In fact, ever since that day, no factory anywhere has been able to make a pure EDT crystal. Even in EDT research done years before, they'd never gotten a hydrate. But after it happened at the first factory, it just spread. It was like... man, how do you say it?
Like the molecules were communicating with one another, transmitting information in a way humans couldn't perceive. This phenomena spread throughout the world, right?
Junpei looked up at Seven with a half smoke. Seven stared at him, dumbfounded.
Yeah, that's it exactly. But how did you know?
Ice 9,
I heard
bro.
another story, kind of like that one.
When?
In the freezer?
What? The freezer?
Oh, yeah.
June told me.
Junpei told Seven the story he'd heard from June in the freezer in the kitchen. How one day, the glycerin began to crystallize. A story of ice that wouldn't melt at room temperature. When Junpei was done, Seven looked thoughtful and absentmindedly rubbed the scar on his chin.
Ice that doesn't melt at room temperature, huh?
That sounds familiar?
Yeah, hold up. I feel like I can remember something. It's right there.
Seven squinted. His eyes stared off into space as he was trying to desperately focus on something far away.
Do you?
Know about Ice 9?
Do you know about Ice 9?
Ice 9? Ice 9. Ice 9. Ice, ice, ice.
Suddenly, Seven's eyes shot open.
That's it. I remember now. That woman, she's on this boat.
That woman?
Alice!
Excuse me?
Who's Alice?
Come on, the woman who won't melt at room temperature.
Excuse me? Wait, Alice? Alice? I don't have it. Where's my freaking... No, all ice. All ice. Alice, all ice.
Huh?
Came clear to Seven, then Junpei had no idea what he was talking about. He ran his hand across his face and took a deep breath.
You know how the Titanic sank on April 15th, 1912, right?
I keep forgetting the date, but yes, I know how it sank on April 15th, 1912.
Yeah, more than 1,500 people died. Worst maritime accident in history. What about it?
Did you hear about the boat that was sent to collect the dead bodies?
I think that was the RMS Carpathia, right?
Smarter man than me,
It was
bro.
a cruise liner,
Smarter man
just
than
like
me.
the Titanic.
No, that was the ship that picked up the survivors.
Oh, okay.
The ship that collected the dead bodies was the CS McKay Bennett. The McKay Bennett showed up on April 17th, 2 days after the accident. It set out from Halifax, a port in Canada, and recovered 306 bodies.
Okay, so he said, this has nothing to do with the game at all, but it said it showed up on April 17th, 2 days after the accident. What my brain read was 2 days before the accident, and I was like, whoa! And I was like, oh wait, no, I just read it wrong. I was expecting like a big twist, like it was predicted the accident, so it was there already. No.
The Atlantic that far north was really cold. It would have to be for there to be icebergs and stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Anyway, the bodies they pulled out of the water were frozen solid.
This isn't a very nice story. So, what happened next?
Well, they say the McKay Bennett recovered something more than just dead bodies. There were various bits of stuff floating around in the water. Things the drowned had carried with them, or stuff that dislodged as the ship sank. One of the things they found was a coffin.
A coffin?
Yeah, a wooden one. The craftsman who made it must have been pretty skilled. It wasn't just a wooden coffin. It was all wood. No nails, no reinforcements, no gaps in the wood anywhere.
Yikes.
The thing was airtight. The crew got pretty curious about what might be inside it and opened it up. They had to get a wedge and hammer it open. It was so well made. Inside,
Woman.
they found a woman. I guess you should say they found the dead body of a woman.
A pharaoh, huh, June? Oh, Lotus, please don't be a pharaoh. Please don't be a pharaoh, Lotus. Please let my dumb theory not be
Her
true.
hair was thick and black, and her skin rich brown with no blemishes or signs of decomposition. They say that she looked gorgeous, like a goddess. She was obviously dead, but everyone who looked at her said she just looked like she was sleeping. Her skin was so lifelike, she looked like she might wake up any minute. And she didn't, though. Like the rest of the bodies they found, she was frozen solid. Eventually, the McKay Bennett finished searching and returned to Halifax. The 306 bodies were unloaded and taken ashore. However, it was warm enough that they began to thaw. They say that the
Except
stink
for
was
Alice.
horrible. But there was one body that didn't thaw, and that was...
The girl in the coffin!
That's right. Everybody thought for sure that she'd melt and start to rot like the rest of them eventually. But weeks passed and nothing happened. Then a month passed, and another. And it was summer, and she was still frozen solid.
Did anyone check if this is like a statue or something?
After a while, people started to say she was some sort of miracle. Rumors about her started to spread. People came to visit Halifax from all over. After a while, people started to call her All Ice. Alice. Of course, those rumors didn't last long.
Why?
Well, she up and disappeared. One day Alice was there, the next day she wasn't. They say someone snuck into where they were keeping her and stole the body. With the body gone, the rumors followed pretty quickly. After a while, no one remembered her. You might be able to find something about her if you could find a newspaper from back then, but that's about it.
Wait, you just said that she was on this boat.
Yeah, I did. Alice has got to be somewhere on this ship.
Now why the hell would you say something like that?
Because I know.
And just what is it you know?
What happened to Alice after she was stolen?
Junpei gulped.
Alright, tell me. What happened to Alice?
Seven nodded slowly and took on the look of a man recalling something long buried.
Well, around that time, the word was that there was a special black market in New York. All million...
No, wait.
Bourdain bought Alice in 1912, and 4 years later, in 1916, he bought the Gigantic.
Press the one button, you press one button wrong, and this fucking thing just jumps forward. Well, around that time, there was a special black market in New York, all millionaires from all over the world. I've heard that Alice went up for auction there. The person who won the auction was Lord Dashiell Bourdain. You've heard of that name before, right? Lord Bourdain, the guy that... Isn't the guy that bought the Gigantic, the Titanic sister ship? Yeah, that's him. Although I guess he hadn't done that yet. What do you mean? Bourdain bought the Alice in 1912, and then 4 years later, in 1916, he bought the Gigantic. Sorry for skipping all that. I pressed one wrong. Okay, remind me again not to press square in this game.
And he hid Alice somewhere on the Gigantic. But nobody knows where. He died in 1931, and apparently he died without ever telling anyone where Alice was hidden. However,
what?
Well, he did have one close friend who asked him, "Where is Alice?" And he said,
In Wonderland.
"Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forest of Knowledge beneath the navel of the Gigantic."
What the hell is that? Is it some kind of riddle?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Seven threw his hands up in defeat.
So that's it. Whatever you think, I believe it. She's hidden somewhere on the Gigantic. In other words, she's hidden somewhere on this ship.
Okay. Poor Junpei could dispute Seven's rather bizarre claim. As Junpei was trying to figure out what on earth he was going to say next, Clover's shrill voice pierced the room.
Hey, what are you two doing over there? Stop wasting time and get over here.
Okay.
Okay, we're coming.
Jeez.
Seven looked at Junpei.
Yeah, so anyway, that's the story. It might be useful someday. Don't forget it.
I'll try not to. That cryptic remark, he turned and left the room.
Alice. Huh.
Junpei was left behind to ponder what he just heard. Tried to remember what June had told him earlier.
That mummy wasn't just a normal mummy. They say that she was frozen. The story says that from the time of its discovery all the way through to when it got put on the Titanic. Even though it was carried through the desert, her body never melted.
Then was that Egyptian priestess Alice? Did the water in her body become Ice 9?
No, that's nuts.
It's not nuts, dude. I believe it.
There's no way somebody like that could exist.
He shook his head, trying desperately to clear it, and followed Seven to the operating room where Clover was waiting. Before the door. Oh, okay, so yeah, I can just go... Let's go, like, can I zoom out, please? Thank you. Excuse me. Okay, cool. So I just go and do the dialogue like this. Cool. Got it. Before the door.
Hey, hold on.
Junpei stopped, about to put the key into the doorknob.
Oh, what's up?
Where's Clover?
Huh?
Junpei turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen.
God damn it. Where the hell did she go? Okay, just hold on a minute. I'll go get her.
Sure thing.
Junpei left Seven at the door and headed back to the operating room. Found her standing next to the operating table, staring at the mannequin.
Hey, Clover, what's wrong? Come on, let's get out of here.
She didn't respond. If she hadn't been standing up and breathing, Junpei might have thought she was dead.
What are you doing? Did you want to come back here and say goodbye to John?
It wasn't the best joke, but it was something, an attempt to lighten the mood. Clover didn't laugh. She stood stock still and said nothing.
Hey, Clover, can you hear me?
Perhaps it was something he'd said, or perhaps it was something else. Suddenly her mouth opened and she whispered in a dry, dead voice.
My brother might be dead.
Huh?
That's why we couldn't find him. If he's dead, I'm going to be next.
Or you kill all of us. Suddenly the operating room felt very, very cold.
What are you talking about? What's wrong with you?
Gave her a small shake, but she still didn't respond. Don't shake the girl! The silence grew heavier. Junpei, what do you want to do? Gave her the 4-leaf clover.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't know why, but suddenly Junpei remembered something he'd been given earlier.
It's in my pocket somewhere. Ah, here it is.
Reached into his pocket and dug it out.
A 4-leaf clover.
Santa had given it to him in the second class room. He held it out to Clover.
Hey, did you know? Each leaf means something. Hope, faith, love, and luck. That's what a 4-leaf clover stands for. Take it. Use it as a good luck charm.
Press the 4-leaf clover into her hand.
Listen to me, Clover. No matter what happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love.
And with a little luck,
You can
you'll
remember all of those, that'll bring you good luck.
Aw, that's sweet. So sweet. Aw, Junpei, you're sweet.
Snake, I mean, your brother, he's not dead.
Just lay off on the false promises there for a second, but...
He's alive, somewhere. I'm sure of it. You've just gotta believe in that.
Clover stared at the 4-leaf clover in her hand. She could see tears start to form at the corners of her eyes.
Thank you.
Her voice was tiny and broken, and as she spoke, she started to cry. She tried to hide her tears by looking at the floor, but it did little good. She wiped away tears with the baggy arms of her jacket, but more quickly took their place. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't stop crying. Tears made small wet circles on the floor.
Thank you.
She said it again. Then she looked up at Junpei and seemed to choke down the last of her grief. She did her best to smile. Junpei wiped an errant tear from her cheek with his thumb and gave her the best smile he could manage.
Come on. Seven's waiting for us at the exit.
But still, she didn't...
Wait, before we go, there's one thing I want to ask you.
What's that?
What do you think when you hear the word experiment?
For a moment his mind froze. Then he came back to his senses and realized the word meant nothing to him, aside from the dictionary definition. Also, from ending submarine ending, experimenting on kids.
What?
Oh, I guess it was just a coincidence then. I mean, that you knew about the 4-leaf clover.
Look, I'm sorry. I don't want to be a jerk, but you are making less than no sense right now.
Are Santa and Clover 2 children? Are Santa and Clover both kids that got experimented on?
Oh, no. It's nothing. Just forget about it.
Oh, don't give me that. You really think I could just drop this? What is this experiment you were talking about?
Clover looked away. The 4-leaf clover was still in her hand. She stared at it for a long moment and then finally spoke.
You promise you won't tell anyone?
Okay, I
Cross
won't.
my heart.
Really?
Really?
I won't tell anyone.
I can trust you, right?
You can trust me, girl.
Of course you can.
You can trust me, cause... Dude, I wanna trust you. I can't trust you right now, cause you have killed me in minimum 1, maximum 3 endings. You've killed me, right? I wanna trust you. I really, really wanna trust you. Slipped the 4-leaf clover into her pocket. Eyes still red from crying, she looked up at Junpei.
Okay then, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what happened on this ship 9 years ago.
Okay then, I was not expecting, I was expecting like, I got experimented on, but not her to directly say, nope, I know what happened on this ship. Tell me.
Wait. On this ship?
Yeah, this ship.
He was entirely lost. He had 1,000 questions, but it was probably best, he thought, to save them until Clover had finished.
It was an experiment to test some sort of psychic thing. Communicating through these fields that you can't see.
Fields that you can't see?
Dude, submarine ending shit. You know this, you know this. You'd heard something like this before. Clover nodded.
Like, think about this.
Ow. She pointed at the operating table. On top of it was a somewhat mismatched medical mannequin whose parts had been swapped with the other mannequins.
This is John, right?
Yes.
But is he really John?
No.
Huh?
All Junpei could think was she has finally completely lost it.
Isn't this like Locke's socks? Or the ship of Theseus?
I don't know what the fuck lock socks are. I've heard of the ship of Theseus before. I don't really know what it is. I've heard of it. Junpei grew even more confused. He'd never heard of either of those things, although they sounded smart. Now, I've heard of the ship of Theseus.
You don't know? You haven't heard of those paradoxes?
Oh, yeah, no, ship of Theseus. Yeah, I know it. Yeah. Oh, no, I remember now. Thank you for giving me the word paradoxes. Paradoxes sparked in my brain what ship of Theseus is. You get a ship, right? One part of it breaks. You need to maintain it. You replace that part. Another part of it breaks. You need to maintain it. You replace that part. You keep going. All these parts break. Eventually, you've replaced every single part of the ship with a new part. Do you still have the same ship? That's the paradox. Like, yes, you're on the same ship. You're on this ship that you consider as a unit, the same one. But you've completely replaced everything that makes it up. None of the thing you're standing on now is part of the original ship at all. Is it still the same ship?
No?
Really? Okay, well pay attention then. This is how Locke's socks works. Let's say I've got a pair of socks. They're my favorite socks. One of them gets a hole in it. What would you do if that was your sock, Junpei?
Patch it up, bro.
Well, I guess I'd patch it up. Get some cloth and close up the hole.
But what if another hole opens?
Patch it
I'd
up
add another
again, bro.
patch, I suppose.
What if another hole opened after that?
Add another fucking patch, bro.
Another patch, I guess?
Well, let's say you just keep adding new patches until eventually the original cloth of the sock is totally gone. Once you get to that point, can you really say they're the same socks you started with?
Yes.
Well, that's tough.
Now you see, well, I've always thought of these as not really paradoxes, but like, I don't know, opinion, subjective questions. There's no real true answer. In my opinion, this is the first time I've heard of lock socks, but in my opinion, when it comes to the ship of Theseus, if it's the same ship in spirit, I still consider it the same ship. Even if in physical form all the parts are different, you, in your mind, still think of it as like the same ship you started as before, and that's the reason you keep fixing it. In my mind, it's still the same ship, bro. Junpei crossed his arms.
So, that's the lock socks thing?
Yeah, the ship of Theseus is a lot like
Yeah,
it.
except with repairing a ship.
The ship of Theseus. If you keep fixing the damaged parts of a ship, eventually it ends up with none of the parts it started with. Can you really say that ship is the same one you started with? And what if you took all the old parts from the first ship and built another one somewhere else?
Is that the
then
same
which
ship?
ship is the real ship of Theseus?
The one that doesn't have any of the original parts. That's the ship of Theseus. It still carries the same name, it still carries the same spirit, it still carries the same metaphorical understanding of that being that ship. I don't care about which wood makes up your ship. That's the ship you're on, that's the ship you're repairing. I think of the ship more of an entity rather than a makeup of physical objects.
The one you repaired, or the one you built with all the
The
original
one
parts?
you repaired, bro. The one you built with all the original parts is like the bastard child of the ship of Theseus with itself. It doesn't have another parent, so it's like the parthenogenetic child of the ship of Theseus. It's an interesting question. Clever could see Junpei was intrigued.
Hey, do you think it's the same?
Dude, this episode is really nice. I'm enjoying this recording so far, because like, it's flipped from getting stabbed in the back and getting a shit ending to now this intriguing stuff that I'm really like interested in.
What's the same?
These guys. Is this John, or is it Lucy now?
It's still John. They looked at the operating table again. That's John. Mannequin full of parts from a different body. If I had been right, this was just like Locked Socks and the ship of Theseus. Part of the body that holds a personal identity is the head. Of course, for many hundreds of years, conventional wisdom held that the man's identity resided in his heart, or any number of internal organs. Here they had both.
John's head and heart are both his, but apart from those, and a single arm, the rest of his body was once Lucy's.
Was that mannequin really John?
We're just like these mannequins.
She looked at Junpei
Think
again.
about it. The cells in our body change every day. Old ones die and new ones are born.
Mitosis, boys.
Maybe part of my arm is made of stuff from a fish I ate once.
Mitosis,
Or
boys.
maybe part of your right side is made from a cow you ate. If you take it a little further, those cows and fishes are made from something else too, right?
Yes.
That's how we're all connected, through fields that can't be seen with the naked eye.
Silence was broken by 7.
Hey, what the hell is taking you two so long?
7's head appeared in the doorway. Was not happy.
How long are you gonna make me wait? We don't have time to screw around.
And Clover looked at each other. Clover looked at Junpei as if to say there was more she wanted to tell him. She shook her head. Whatever she had to tell him, she didn't want to tell him in front of 7. 7 seemed to catch on.
Oh? What were you two doing? Was this some sort of secret meeting?
Yes, actually.
No, it wasn't.
It actually was though. Like literally,
We were
it was.
Just...
playing with the mannequins.
And that's the worst excuse you could.
Huh?
Let's go, Junpei.
Moving a little bit too fast to be entirely innocent, Clover headed toward the exit. 7 stared after her and then turned to Junpei with an amused
Playing
expression.
with mannequins, huh? Didn't know you were into that kind of thing, Junpei.
7, do not start with me, boy. Do not start with me. I will get into a fight with you, and I will get my ass kicked, and then you'll feel dumb. Beating up a man so much smaller than you. You are a dick, bro. You're still my favorite character, probably. I still like you a lot, but you are a dick. Junpei dashed past him and traced Clover's path out the door. With a short laugh, 7 followed. If I had a webcam, you should have seen how many hands, like how much I was using my hands to gesticulate at 7 at that moment. I'm still continuing to do it. They stood in front of the door. Junpei took out the Jupiter key.
Alright, I'm gonna open it now. Is that cool?
Cool with
You
me,
don't
bro.
need to keep asking, just do it.
Fine then.
He slid the key into the keyhole and turned it. He felt it unlock. The door opened with a soft, melancholy creak. Beyond it lay a simple white hallway. There was no fanfare or confetti. Obviously, there was no one there to applaud them. He simply walked through the door. That was it.
Alright, let's get going.
Let's get going, boys.
Hey man, what's up with you? You're so serious, you know? Can't you sound more happy, get a little excited?
Oh.
Not really.
Junpei turned away from 7 and took his first step down the simple white hallway.
My brother might be dead. I'm going to be next.
Clover had told him only a few minutes before that her brother was probably dead and she was likely to follow him.
Like hell I can. Not after hearing something like that.
Cool, so I unlocked that. So now we go. Can I move down? Thank you. Now we go here. Escape room. Chart room. Pocket watch. A voice he hadn't expected startled Junpei from his examination of the pocket watch.
Oh, pocket watch. Might I take a look at it?
Go right ahead, bro. Spun around to find Ace standing in the doorway. They shrugged and handed him the pocket watch.
Hey man, what are you doing over in this room?
Oh, I just thought I'd come check up on the two of you. Is there a problem?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there is.
Ace's eyebrows
You
went up.
checked on us. Now get out of here. We split this stuff up for a reason, alright?
Yikes, did not need to be that aggressive.
That's a lie. We didn't have to split up the work. I just want to talk to Clover alone. That's why I sent Ace to the wheelhouse. There's something I want to ask her, and I don't want anyone to overhear us. I'm pretty sure Clover won't talk if there's anyone else around. That's why when Ace showed up again, I got a little desperate. I had to make him leave.
Ace opened his mouth and took another look at Junpei and shuddered again. A small smirk appeared on his face.
Oh, I see. Of course.
He looked Junpei over, then glanced at Clover.
I apologize for the intrusion. Well, best of luck.
Ace gave Junpei a knowing pat on the shoulder and left. He let out a sigh and brushed a few drops of sweat from his forehead. He turned and found himself looking straight into Clover's eyes. She'd heard what Ace had said. She regarded Junpei with caution.
What was that about?
She was clearly suspicious, and with good reason.
Why are you looking at me like that?
His eyes widened and he held up his hands in a gesture of innocence.
No, it's not like that.
What's it like then?
I just wanted to hear the rest of that story. I didn't get a chance to ask you about it until now.
What story?
About the experiment, remember? The one you started to tell me in the operating room? You said something about an experiment that happened here 9 years ago.
Clover bit her lip. She stared down at the floor for several long moments, and then when she spoke, it was barely audible.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm just not in the mood, okay?
Understandable. Understandable, and there's also like four more locks left, so we have plenty more chances.
You understand, right? I'm just... I can't stop. I mean, who would do something like that? To my brother? I can't forgive them. I'm not gonna let them get away with it. They're gonna pay for it. I promise.
Unlux accent.
So...
Shoulders were shaking. Drops of blood had sprung on her lips where she was biting them. She wiped it off and looked up at Junpei, her eyes fierce and angry.
Junpei, who do you think did it?
Her voice was cold and scarcely above a whisper. Junpei gulped.
Well, if what Seven said was right, then there would have to be at least 2 of them. You need at least 3 people to open the numbered doors, and if you subtract Snake, that means there were at least 2 other people.
You're right. So, what does that mean?
Well, if we just look at the bracelet numbers, we should be able to figure it out. Who could have opened door 3 with Snake? Well, really, who and who, or who and who?
You mean it could have been 4 people?
Or 5.
Well, technically it's possible.
I don't know. That doesn't seem very likely.
Why?
I'll tell you later. Why don't we just assume it was only 2 other people for now?
Okay, got it. Let's do that then.
Then who do you think it could be?
Santa and 7. The Santa and 7. Santa and 7. Clover and June. Junpei crossed his arms and thought. Snake's bracelet number was 2. 2 bracelet numbers added to 2 would give you a digital root of 3. Which 2 bracelet numbers? Ace and Santa, no. Okay, cool. This might be useless. I just want to go through them. Ace and Santa. So 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 2 is 6. Unlux. Ace and June. 1 plus 6 is... Wait, so 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 2 is 6. Unlux. 1 plus 6 is 7. Plus 2 is 9. Unlux. 1 plus 7 is 8. Plus 2 is 1. Unlux. 1 plus 8 is 9. Plus 2 is 11. Unlux. 3 plus 6 is 9, plus 2 is 11, unlux. 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 2 equals 3. Possibility. 3 plus 8 equals 11, plus 2 equals 13, nope. 6 plus 7 equals 13 plus 2, nope. 6 plus 8 equals 14 plus 2, nope. 7 plus 8, 15 plus 2, nope. So it has to be Santa and 7.
Would it be Santa and 7? The digital root for Snake, Santa, and 7 is... 3! Wait, hold on. Are Santa and 7 the killers?
What's wrong?
Clover looked at Junpei and he looked back at her. There was no point in hiding it.
I thought about it.
If there's only 2 killers, it has to be Santa and 7.
That's what I thought.
She looked less surprised than he'd expected.
Santa and 7. If it was 2 people, then that's the only combination that works.
Hey, wait a minute there. Don't you think it's a little too early to be jumping to conclusions? Well, all I said is that those two would have been able to open door 3 with your brother. There might be other possibilities.
Well, what other possibilities?
Didn't have an answer. Was ready to admit defeat when Clover
Are
spoke.
you saying you think that it was 3 or 4 people?
Maybe.
I really don't think that's likely.
Why not?
Can I borrow your pen and paper?
Clover put her hand out expectantly.
Yeah, here.
Junpei pulled out his pen and pad of paper and handed them to her. She opened the notebook and wrote down several simple addition problems. Eventually she had 8, which provided a digital root of 3.
What's this?
These are the combinations for 3 or 4 people. These 8 combinations are the only possible ones.
Oh,
Junpei,
Yeah?
I can trust you, right?
Yes, you can.
Of course. Why would you need to ask that?
Really?
Yeah.
So then I should get rid of B, D, G, and H, right?
Does they include you?
Of course. Just cross them out. And you should take off yours too. The ones with 4.
So, what does that leave?
A and E.
Santa's a killer either way.
Wait, it can't be A.
Why?
Because June's in that one. There's no way in hell she'd do something like that.
Are you sure?
I'd bet my life on it.
Okay then. I can cross off A too, right?
I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
Well, what have we got left?
E.
Still Santa and 7.
Do you know what this means?
Everyone besides me, you, and June would be working together.
Do you think that's likely?
Hmm.
If there were 4 people working together, they wouldn't be very cautious. I don't think they'd try that hard to hide what they were doing if they outnumbered us.
Well, you do have a point.
And besides, if Ace and 7 are working together, they could have easily gotten rid of me when I went to the shower room with them. But they didn't. They didn't even try anything. If they were killers, why wouldn't they?
Her voice was calm, but Junpei had only to look in her eye to know it was a forced calm. There were tears forming at the corners of her eyes, and she was blinking furiously to keep them back. Perhaps by attempting an objective analysis of who might have killed her brother, she had been able to distance herself from the harsh reality of his death. The more she struggled to act unconcerned, the more Junpei felt his heart tighten.
Oh, I see. Anyway, I understand now. It seems pretty unlikely that it was as many as 3 or 4 people.
Yeah,
Then that means there's a good chance it was Santa and 7.
that's how it looks.
But why would they do it?
There was a moment of silence.
Their motive.
He laid his hands gently on her shoulder. He was close, so close to the answer. When Ace chose the worst possible moment to return. Raised a knowing eyebrow and then spoke.
Have I interrupted something?
What is it?
There was something I wanted to speak with you about, Junpei. Could you come with me for a moment?
Turned on his heel and walked back toward the wheelhouse.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Junpei looked over at Clover. He gave her a short nod and hoped that she would be willing to talk to him again later, and followed Ace.
What did you want to talk about?
Ace looked at Junpei and smiled, perhaps more of a smirk than a smile.
There was something I wanted to check.
Yeah? What's that?
He's cheating with the vote.
If you'll excuse me.
No warning, Ace slipped his hand into the pocket of Junpei's
Hey,
vest.
what the hell are you doing?
I'm just checking.
No, stop!
Reached for Ace's arm. But it was already too late. Pulled a man's hand with the pieces of paper Junpei had balled up and hidden in his pocket.
Just as I thought. What exactly are these pieces of paper hiding in your pocket? You switched them, didn't you, when we voted? Well, I can't say that I care. I managed to get through the numbered door I wanted, despite your mischief.
Then, why did you...
Oh, simple curiosity. I hope you won't think ill of me for it.
Ace smiled, gave Junpei a friendly pat on the shoulder, and then turned on his heel and left. It was a small defeat, but it was a defeat. Junpei had lost the upper hand, and he knew it. He could feel his stomach begin to tense. Cool. So that's that done with. So let's go to Red File. All ice, huh? Junpei reached on and picked it up.
It looks like there's something on the cover. ALLICE.
All ice.
All ice. Alice. Does this mean...
Junpei couldn't hold back. He had to know what was in the file and its hieroglyphics. Each page was covered with strange characters, like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, wings, and even kneeling humans. There were many pages in the file, and each full of these strange symbols.
What the hell is this?
Didn't realize he'd spoken out loud until Ace looked over at him.
They are hieroglyphs, a form of writing used in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt?
That's right.
Can you read them?
Of course. I can't. What would make you think I could?
What the hell?
Junpei flipped through a few more pages. It wasn't just one or two pages that were covered in the strange symbols. Every single page was covered in them.
Whoa, the whole thing's like that.
Trying to read them was pointless. Junpei wasn't going to waste any more time with them. He made to close the file. Something fell out.
What's this?
Bent down and picked it up.
Oh, a key card.
Symbol on it that reminded Junpei of the symbols for Saturn and Mercury key cards. This one, however, had a dot in the center of the male symbol.
Uranus. That's the Uranus symbol.
Junpei looked over to see Ace examining the card. In addition to the Uranus symbol, there were 3 words engraved on the card
Something's
as well.
written on the bottom.
Bottom Deck Library.
Bottom Deck Library. This must be the key to the library, then.
So what did that frickin' millionaire, I forgot his name again, say? It's past the navel of the ship, past the forest of knowledge. Or something like that. The library, bro. The library.
So it would seem.
Bottom Deck Library. Oh!
Junpei remembered something he'd heard from Seven when they'd been in the chemical closet.
Seven said something like...
Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the forest of knowledge beneath the navel of the gigantic.
Could beneath the navel mean the bottom deck? And the forest of knowledge is the library? Then could Alice be in a room somewhere beyond the library?
What's wrong? Something on your mind?
Junpei blinked. Only then did he notice Ace looking at him, curiosity and concern written across his face in equal parts.
Yeah. I just remembered something.
Is that so? What about?
Well, don't laugh, okay?
There was no reason for Junpei to hide his thoughts. He began to explain his theory to Ace. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be. So he told Ace everything June had told him.
The Egyptian priestess, an Ice 9. Interesting.
And the woman who wouldn't melt, who was recovered from the Titanic disaster? They called her All Ice, which eventually turned into Alice. And she was purchased by an English millionaire who called himself Lord Gordain.
I need to remember that.
According to Seven, this ship is where he hid Alice.
And you think that he hid her in a small room, beyond the library on the bottom deck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is just a theory.
Game theory? Ace stared off into the distance, his hand slowly and absent-mindedly stroking his beard. No, he's holding it in front of him, bro. After a few moments, his hand stopped. He turned slowly to look at Junpei and his brows drew together.
Junpei, have you ever heard of the term CAS?
Creator Sim?
CAS?
It stands for Cells Alive System. It is an advanced technology for freezing and preserving organic matter. Put simply, it is a technique that allows one to freeze things without the formation of ice crystals. Normally, if you freeze something fresh, water within its cells expands as it crystallizes, damaging the cell membrane. CAS, however, works differently. The object to be frozen is supercooled using magnetic fields, and then frozen instantly and uniformly, giving ice crystals no time to form. It was originally developed for the preservation of food, as an alternative to the normal freezing process. Now, however, there are rumors that it can be used for other things.
Like immortality
What
or
do you
some
mean,
shit.
other things?
Well, there are obvious medical uses, but perhaps also space travel.
Oh, cryogenics.
Space travel? Are you serious?
Surely you've heard of suspended animation. Cryogenic freezing?
Yes.
It's a fairly common idea in science fiction books and films. People are sometimes frozen for especially lengthy journeys through space.
That was when Junpei understood what Ace was suggesting.
Whoa, wait a minute there.
Ace looked at him and raised an eyebrow.
Are you saying that Alice was frozen using that cast thing?
Well, I'm sure the possibility is quite low, but it is a possibility. If this special ice you call Ice 9 does indeed exist, and casts were used to freeze her into that sort of ice instantaneously.
You think she could be alive?
Alive?
Well, I can't say for sure, of course. I'm only talking about possibilities. The melting point for Ice 9 is 96 degrees, right? If she were put somewhere where she could reach that temperature...
That's nuts. Are you really saying she could have defrosted and started walking about?
You're quite right. It does sound unbelievable.
Lotus.
But if she had, then we would have an explanation for the man we found dead on the floor.
You mean the guy dressed like a captain?
Yes. He was dead when we found him. Clearly, he was murdered. But if he was murdered, then by whom?
Oh, so in the submarine ending and the knife ending, did Alice kill us?
It couldn't have been one of us. That would be impossible.
Alice.
In order to enter the captain's quarters, one must first open door 1.
So Alice killed us. Okay. Well, maybe. I'm acting as if it's a certainty.
That door that requires the Earth key prevented us from accessing door 1. Who was it that opened that door?
Santa and Lotus.
Right. Clearly, the two of them could not have opened door 1, or any other door for that matter.
Because there are only 2 people.
Who else then could have done so?
Alice. Junpei thought for a second.
Nobody.
After Santa and Lotus used the Earth Key, they turned back and met up with me and June. Then we returned to the large hospital room and found Ace, Seven, and Clover. While we'd gone into the shower room, Ace, Seven, and Clover had stayed behind. But it's impossible for those 3 to open door 1. But what about when June and I took the elevator to door 2? No, still won't work. We were only gone 5 minutes. No human being could have run to the captain's quarters, killed that guy in there, and run back that fast.
And they would just be running there to kill him.
For any of us to be the murderer. That being the case, who could have killed him? Wouldn't it make sense if his killer was someone who had been in the ship for some time? A person like that would know the ship well. They would know the locations of all the hidden passages and secret doors. The numbered door would mean nothing to someone like that. It would be a simple thing for them to enter the captain's quarters.
Then you're saying the killer was Alice?
Maybe. He's not saying it. He's saying it could be. It was Junpei's turn to raise an eyebrow. Ace drew his thumb across his lips thoughtfully.
Well, this is all only one possible theory.
All ice. Alice. Is she really somewhere on the ship?
Junpei had only one clue.
Maybe
Rod in
this
his
card
hand.
will give me access to the Forest of Knowledge. And the big mystery. What could be there beyond the Forest of Knowledge? Anyway, whatever. It's gonna have to wait. I can't do anything right now.
Yep.
I'll come back to this later.
He gripped the keycard tight and shoved it deep into his pocket. So the monitor now. How many of these are left? So, okay, cool. Just one more and then we'll get the new ending. Junpei snorted with grim humor from the second time since he'd come into the room. The 4 screens along the bottom had a single letter each, spelling out
Z-E-R-O, huh?
0.
It's like he's making fun of us. What do you think?
Turned to Clover, who was standing next to him. Clover nodded. It seemed that she cared about little. Of course, Junpei could hardly blame her. Given that the strain she was surely under, Junpei was somewhat surprised that she had responded at all. Still, he had to ask. Gestured toward the corpse.
What about him? Do you think that's really Zero?
No. Clover shook her head weakly.
There's no way that's him. Didn't I tell you already? Zero is one of us.
Yeah. Well, even if he wasn't one of us, there's no way that man could be Zero.
Huh?
Don't you get it? The letters that spell Zero on the TV screen, the captain's clothes he's got on, and of course, the bracelet with a 0 on it. It's too obvious. Look, this is Zero right here. This dead body is Zero. Isn't that kind of fishy?
Yes.
You're right. Only an idiot wouldn't see through something like that.
Which makes me think that it's not incorrect.
No, that's not the point. So I'm not trying to make fun of them for thinking a trick like this would work. I'm sure they didn't think it would work. Which makes me wonder.
Why did they do it?
I think this is a challenge. A challenge from the person who's really behind all of this. He's making fun of us. Don't you get it? If whoever killed this guy really wanted us to think this corpse was Zero, they'd never have put a bracelet on him. Walking around with a 0 bracelet would be like hanging a sign around your neck that said, "I did it!" Anyone with a brain would be able to see that this guy is supposed to look like everything Zero is supposed to be. Just like we did. The killer must have known we wouldn't think he was Zero and put the bracelet on him anyway. Do you know why?
Why?
Like I said, he's mocking us. Too bad, suckers, this isn't Zero. Where's the real me then? See if you can catch me. It's the same bad joke a lot of criminals like to play. They'll just sit back and watch people run in circles.
That's really twisted. But it almost seems kind of childish.
Yeah, you're right. It's really childish. It's like it's just a game to whoever this person is. That's what seems funny to me.
It's in the name, dude. It's a fucking nonary game. Junpei bent down next to the corpse.
Alright, let's get back to the point. Who killed this man?
I don't know.
And what's this guy's deal? Who is he?
How would I know that? If I knew anything, I would have told you.
You have no idea who he is.
Why would I?
They sat back on his haunches and thought.
We should check and see if he's got anything on him that might tell us who he is. Give me a hand here, Clover.
Huh?
We gotta flip him over. How else are we gonna search his pockets?
Clover didn't move.
Okay, fine. Guess I'll do it.
Junpei had no choice but to move the body on his own.
Here we go.
Grabbed hold of an area not completely covered in blood and shoved. Took a moment, but eventually Junpei felt the man's bulk begin to shift. But just as it did,
Huh?
something fell from the man's left wrist.
Hey, it's the...
A bracelet with the 0 on the face.
Lastly, let us discuss 1. Use 2. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside...
I got it,
God.
bro. I don't want to listen to that whole speech again. They stayed at the
This
bracelet.
man... He's dead, isn't he?
Huh?
No, it's just... I guess I didn't really think about it until right now. If his bracelet's off, that means he's dead.
Well, it's pretty obvious that he's dead. You don't really need to look at his bracelet to figure out that he's dead.
Yeah. I guess you're right. It is pretty obvious. Well, he looks a lot better than the other bodies we've seen, though. You know? I mean, if there wasn't all this blood, he'd almost look like he was still alive. I mean, I know it's kind of a messed up thing to say, but he kinda has it better,
Bro,
you know?
her brother died.
Dying
bro.
from a bomb going off inside of you? I mean, that's just... Some of Snake's bones went right through his skin. I think the explosion must have thrown him against a wall or something. There was a broken bone just sticking out of his left arm.
Are you trying to
And-
make her hate you? Suddenly, Junpei realized what he was saying. How could he be been so cruel? He clapped his hands over his mouth. But it was already too late. He turned to look at Clover. She was glaring at him furiously.
What did you just say?
Words sounded cold. An apology could hardly atone for what he'd done, but he tried anyway.
Oh man, I am so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I really don't know what I was thinking. I mean,
No, that's not what I'm talking about. What did you say about his arm?
arm?
Yes, his left arm. You said it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I did, but I mean, didn't you see it too?
Of course not. I could barely look at him. There's no way I was gonna see the details.
Clover took a quick deep breath.
Are you sure it was his left arm?
Junpei thought back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
And he had a broken bone, right?
What the hell are you getting at here?
Just shut up and answer me!
She shoved her face closer to his. He could see the fire in her eyes. Junpei winced and swallowed.
Yeah, he did. It was pretty bad, too. The bone was sticking out of the arm.
What, does your brother not have a left arm or something? And now you know that it's not him, actually? No sooner were the words out of his mouth when Clover's expression changed.
Clover? What's wrong? Look, I'm sorry if I said anything.
Suddenly she was crying. Junpei wasn't sure what to do.
Thank you.
It's close to the last thing he expected to hear.
Huh? What are you...
Junpei had no idea what just happened. He didn't think he'd done anything worthy of thanks, and that he couldn't understand why she would have chosen that moment to begin crying. So he simply stood there confused.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She thanked him again, and then something even stranger happened. She hugged him. Aww. Clover threw herself into Junpei's surprised arms.
Hey, what's going on with you?
I'm sorry, it's just... I'm so happy!
Why? Okay, so it's impossible for it to be Snake. If his left arm was broken. But I want to know why it can't be Snake if his left arm is broken.
The body in the shower room!
Isn't Snake.
It isn't his! It isn't my brother!
Huh?
It's not Snake!
I knew it, dude.
Would you think that?
There's no fucking way that guy was there, dude. You pose it like that, and I'm like, how should I believe he's dead, dude? It's like, you make me want to doubt his death.
Because his left arm is...
She stopped
I'm
herself.
sorry. I really shouldn't be talking about this.
Junpei decided it would be prudent not to press her for any more information. If she didn't wish to tell him so, she certainly had a reason for doing so. Perhaps more importantly, however, if Clover was so certain, then she was likely right. That meant the body in the shower room wasn't Snake. It wasn't much, but that knowledge lifted some of the weight from Junpei's heart.
He's still alive. I'm so happy.
Tears shone in her eyes. Those tears melted Junpei's heart. As she cried, she had pushed herself up against his chest like a child. Junpei put his arms around her and held her tight.
I'm so glad.
Huh?
Junpei, you were right.
Huh?
No matter what happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love. If you can remember all of those, that'll bring you good luck.
Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out, the bookmark.
That's...
It was a laminated bookmark with a 4-leaf clover.
I only made it here because you gave me this. I was suspicious of everybody. I was angry and miserable. But because I had this 4-leaf clover, because of what you said to me,
Yeah.
Junpei hadn't thought his words would have had such an effect on her. Her words make him feel a little awkward.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She looked up at him. He scratched his nose and pretended to notice something interesting somewhere else in the room.
Oh, if you really want to thank somebody, you should be thanking Santa.
Santa? Why?
Well, he was the one who gave me that thing. And the words for each leaf, I got that from him too.
Oh.
And suddenly, Clover broke away from Junpei.
Huh?
Looked confused. He hadn't thought she'd react that poorly. Clover began to pace across the room. Six steps to the left, 6 steps to the right. Why not 9? Another 6 to the left, and then she stopped.
Did Santa really tell you those things?
Yeah, he did. Eyes were serious, but not angry.
Yeah, he did. Did I say something wrong?
Oh no, not at all. In fact, this could be really good news. I think
You think?
Santa knew about the words and the clover. The only people who should know about that are the other subjects.
Subject?
The other people who were in the experiment 9 years ago, with my brother and me.
Oh, I'm gonna learn about the experiment now.
But he's blind, and I was part of the Nevada test group. So neither of us would be able to recognize the faces of the people who were on this boat.
Whoa. Okay, time out.
Junpei held up his hand. He took a deep breath and let it out.
Let's just calm down for a second, okay? Start from the top. Don't start with the end and then jump to the middle. You gotta start with 1 and then move to 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. If you don't tell me stuff in the right order, I'm never gonna be able to figure it out.
Okay.
Clover nodded.
Alright, let's start with this experiment. What happened on this boat 9 years ago?
Do you know about morphogenetic fields?
No.
Morphogenetic fields.
Did Lotus mention something about that? Did, and the realization sent chills down Junpei's spine.
All right.
Yeah,
how
Lotus
about
mentioned
this?
something about it.
Theory of the telepathic mechanism.
I think Lotus mentioned something like that.
Junpei recounted what Lotus had told him earlier. Clover nodded.
Telepathy, huh? Well, that's not really it, but I suppose it's similar.
So they were testing telepathy on this ship?
Yeah, I guess so.
So, what exactly did they have you guys do?
The same thing that we're doing now. Exactly the same thing.
Excuse me?
What?
The nonary game. 9 people were put on this boat, and 9 others were put in the building in Nevada, and the game started.
Junpei grabbed the sides of his head.
Look, I'm sorry, but I don't get it. What do the nonary game and some telepathy experiment have to do with each other? Am I missing something here?
Clover bit her lip. She blinked back sudden tears. What had happened to her in
The
Nevada?
ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger. You know how sometimes when you're up against a really tough problem, and then the answer just kind of pops in your head? That's an epiphany. And what you learn from the epiphany can be transmitted with telepathy. When you add danger to that equation, then it gets easier to transmit that information over telepathy.
So you're saying the nonary game was supposed to introduce that element of danger?
Yeah, but it couldn't be just any old danger. It had to be life and death. And someone did actually die. A girl.
Huh.
Junpei felt the sudden grip of despair on his heart. Something deep and distant and powerful squeezed, and for a moment he felt very, very empty and alone.
She was on the boat with my brother. I was in Nevada. I never met her, but I did hear her name.
Alice?
Her name was...
Then the sound of a door opening was like a gunshot. Junpei spun around.
Oh, my apologies. I seem to have disturbed you.
Oh my god, Ace!
Ace!
You two must have strong stomachs. I can't imagine how you could stay in this room for so long.
Ace glanced down at the floor. At the corpse covered in blood.
At any rate, Junpei, would you be so kind as to come and help me with something?
Dude, I'll pose my theory just now.
I'm having a little trouble and I could really use your assistance. Come on, it'll only take a moment.
That he turned and walked toward the communications office. Clover waited until he was out of sight and spoke in a small, quiet voice.
I don't want Ace to hear us. We can talk about this later.
Sure.
Huh? Hey, wait!
Clover ignored him. From outside, Junpei could hear Ace calling.
Junpei, what are you doing in there? Hurry up!
Oh, coming, bro. Grumbling to himself, Junpei stomped off toward the communications office. All this shit about morphogenetic fields, dude, is it gonna be that every single split in this thing, every single split in the novel, we're just this, we're 3 different groups, 3 or 4 or 2, whatever, different groups of people that are, made to be the same, going through the same, replica of a boat in different areas or something? That sounds dumb to me, but that's what my mind led to. And my mind is usually either 100% right or 200% wrong. I'm either very right or absurdly terribly wrong. Now let's go outside the room. They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit before turning left like a great backward owl.
Alright, let's go.
Junpei rounded the corner and took off down the straightaway. He ran, and ran, and ran. At the end of the hallway was a door.
That's the next door.
Made straight for
Wait,
it.
a piece of paper.
It was nearly halfway to it when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the floor. Junpei skidded to a halt.
This is...
Dropped down onto his hands and knees and quickly tore off the paper off the floor.
Map of the ship's interior for A-Deck.
What's wrong?
He's slightly slower by virtue of his advanced age had finally caught up to Junpei.
I found a map for this floor.
Showed Ace what he snatched from the wall. Looked at it long enough to determine what it was and nodded.
I see.
That began running again, past Junpei.
Well, that was anticlimactic. I should keep this, though.
Junpei shoved the map into his pocket and got up to follow Ace, but something stopped him.
Hey, where's Clover?
Turned around. Clover was nowhere to be
Damn
seen.
it, what the hell is she up to?
Junpei muttered angrily under his breath and took off back the way he'd come. As he stomped around the corner, he saw her. She was standing in front of the door to the captain's quarters, her hands on the doorknob. Give me the axe. Look, please give me the axe.
Clover!
Huh?
As Junpei watched, she closed it gently and quietly.
What the hell are you doing?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
Clover had unconsciously put her hands over the pockets of her jacket as if trying to hide something.
What the hell is that?
What?
You've got something in your pocket. What is it?
Oh, this? This is... a note.
A note?
Yeah, I found it in the pocket of the guy with the captain's clothes. It said something about the darkness of the sinister hand or something.
Excuse me.
Hell? Let me see it.
No, not right.
But Junpei wasn't going to get to see it. The other end of the hall, he heard Ace's voice.
Junpei, Clover, what are you two doing? Hurry up!
I like that. I like that effect that they made it sound muffled. I
He's
like
getting
that.
mad.
Clover shrugged.
I'll show it to you later, all right?
Okay, cool.
Come on, we gotta hurry.
Cool. I'm glad this went much better than Axe Murder. I'm so happy this went better than Axe Murder. You don't know how happy I am. Before Junpei could protest, she was gone. Around the corner and off the long stem of the owl. A note. Junpei was curious, but there was something else that bothered
From the look of that pocket, it doesn't particularly look like just a note.
It's the Zero bracelet.
Jeez, what are you thinking?
Axe Murder.
For crying out loud.
He did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later and ran off after Clover. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a set of stairs.
The big stairs. So this is where it ends up. Just like it says on the map.
It was just what he'd expected to see after reading the map. His I see after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing.
Ace? Did he head down?
Put his hands on the handrail and leaned over to look down.
Oh, there he is.
Look, the 4 others are there too.
And not just Ace, Santa, June 7, and not just Ace, Santa, June 7, and Lotus
Really?
as well.
Let's join them.
Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B deck at the same time.
Jumpy! Clover!
June's face was excited. Something had happened, that much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her.
What's up?
They found the 9 door, bro. Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself.
We found it!
Found what?
9 door.
We found it!
What did you find?
The 9 door, bro!
The last door! We found door 9!
What?
Come on! Just follow us! We'll explain on the way!
Okay.
7 turned and jogged off down the stairs.
Well, if that's the case...
Wait for me.
We should get going as well.
The rest followed.
Jumpy! We finally made it!
The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt.
Yeah, it's finally time.
Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe that they'd really done it. At least not just yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was.
We've reached the end.
Could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one.
Something's bothering me. Only 3 to 5 people can go through the numbered door. 7 of us are on our way to door 9. That means that, best case scenario, there will be 2 of us who have to stay behind. 2 people. Is there a way?
Junpei looked over at the clock.
4:30. We've only got 90 minutes left. I've got no time to wonder about it now.
Hey, Junpei! June! What the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up!
Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
Let's go, Jumpy!
June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could. I just thought of something. Is it gonna be that the... Okay, I just thought of something. Is it gonna be that the dead girl's name is gonna be Akane or something? Like when Clover mentioned that a girl dies, is it gonna be Akane?
Yeah.
Junpei followed. So yeah, Clover doesn't interrupt us this time. As a group, they piled onto the elevator and rode impatiently down to E-Deck. It looked familiar. There was a metal grate between the 2 elevators. Seven grabbed hold of it and began to talk.
I know I told you I'd explain it earlier, but honestly, there ain't much to explain. After we split off from you guys, the 4 of us got into the elevator on the left, and that took us to the other side of the grate. After that, we headed down another hallway. It took us toward the bow, and eventually to the number 6 that you 2 found earlier. We opened it and kept going. There was another locked door behind it, like usual, but this time we had to complete 2 different areas before we could unlock it. Once we were through that door, there was another hallway that went the other direction, toward the stern.
What were the 2 places here again? I just want to know remember what they were. The engine room and the cargo room. I remember the engine room, I couldn't remember what the other one was.
So, on your way, you found the elevator.
That's right.
So, in other words, you kinda did a lap, huh? You came from that side to the...
Yeah,
That settled, Junpei looked around.
So, where's the number 9 door?
over here. Follow me.
7 began walking down the hallway that led toward the stern. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up with him.
By the way,
They had been walking for a while. June in silent step with Junpei when she spoke.
you know, it's because of Santa that we're all here right now.
Huh?
That all 7 of us are going to door 9.
What?
You don't get it? Santa, 7, and Lotus, what's their digital route?
9.
That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going if they'd wanted to.
But they didn't.
Yes, because Santa wouldn't let them. He said, we can't leave June and the others behind.
Yo, Santa, you're a lad, bro. You're a fucking lad.
That's why we went looking for you guys.
And then you got on the elevator and went back to the central staircase.
Santa's a freaking lad, boys. Yo, 7, you tried to leave June behind. On lugs, bro.
That's right.
Well, I wouldn't have called that one. That Santa would be the one to stick up for you.
Junpei felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Perhaps June, in that sense, Junpei is concerned.
I don't mean that 7 and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind. We were just
okay.
talking about it, and Santa objected to it
Oh, okay,
first.
cool. I thought 7 and Lotus were like, yeah, let's just fucking leave June behind.
Is that so?
Junpei was about to respond when 7 suddenly stopped.
We're here.
One of them stood at the door.
So, is this...
Yeah.
Junpei couldn't see 7's face, but he could see him
There's
nod.
no other place for us to go.
Nope. Just look around. There's a big old iron wall at the end of the hallway. The other hallways on the left and right are blocked by metal grates.
I see.
Looked as though 7 was right. The door in front of them was their only choice.
All right, let's get moving.
He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed. It appeared they'd been telling the truth. First thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was the number 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing made of paint. The board decorated sat on the back wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it.
The 9 door.
It was a large double door with powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic and it made the red paint look especially garish.
We're finally here.
Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. Didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it to. The red was bolted to the wall next to the door. The display read vacant.
No doubt about it. This is door 9. Oh, finally! This is the last.
Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. It was a moment of complete silence.
Junpei, look behind you.
He turned around.
Behind? What?
Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw.
Why? A door and a 9. There's another one? Hey, what the hell? What the hell is going on here?
His words came slowly and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second door, second 9. It was a small door set parallel to the door they'd come through, but in the other corner of the room. 9. There was no mistaking the number, and if any more proof was needed, the red was bolted to the wall near the door.
There's a red there too! That means...
There's 2 9 doors.
And of course it won't open.
He grabbed the handle and shook the door, not because he expected it to open, because he had to make sure it was real.
But why? Why the hell are there 2 doors?
It was Ace who spoke first.
Do you think perhaps one is the right door and the other is the wrong one?
Lotus was skeptical.
I don't know about that. It seems unlikely.
What makes you say so?
Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so far. They're full of puzzles, but there are always hints about how to solve them. I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just had to go with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. Do you really think that at the very end of the game, Zero's going to suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck?
A 50-50?
Then you're saying there's some sort of hint in this room?
No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere in here. I searched it very well when I was in here before. I didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though.
Well then, that means...
There's just 2 doors.
Yeah, both of these are the right door. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it.
It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out.
Junpei began to mutter to
So
himself.
if there are 2 number 9 doors, if we split it up right,
That's not gonna work.
Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her hand.
You've got a notebook and a pen, right? Can I borrow them?
yeah, here.
Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her. We're always too short.
Look at this.
Clover opened a notebook, had a blank page, and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
You get it? The numbers on the top are all the combinations with digital roots of 9. The numbers on the bottom are the people who don't fit. There's only 8 possibilities if we split up into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people. So...
If 3 people go through the door, then 4 are left behind. If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind. Right?
yeah.
Clover nodded almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem. If Snake is not dead, let's fucking bring Snake into this shit.
No way.
The room went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were blank.
Come to think of it,
Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes to the room around
what
him.
is this room?
It's a chapel, bro. The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the
It
room.
looks like it's set up for some kind of ceremony. But what kind?
Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. At the other end of the carpet was a coffin.
Is that an altar?
was a recessed space set into the wall between the two other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin. Coffin. A coffin. Coffin.
A coffin? No, it couldn't possibly be.
But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. Decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced.
Okay, I give up. I give up. I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer.
He's
But
gonna volunteer to stay behind.
I guess nobody's got the guts to do it.
What are you talking about?
Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one.
What, you guys didn't figure it out yet? Fine, let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong, she just... screw it! Let me just write it out.
Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else clustered around them, desperate for a look.
If you're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out, Clover's right. But there's another way. Only one combination, though. If you split us up into groups of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination.
Wait, this means...
Don't get me wrong here, I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. Even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing.
The same thing? Are you saying?
Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind.
Seven.
Why are you acting so heroic all of a sudden? Are you some kind of idiot?
Yeah, he is. That's the problem. That itself was a little strange. She reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered.
No, I'm completely against this. I'll be goddamned if I'm gonna have to owe you for getting out of here.
The rest of them began to speak all at once.
I'm against it too. I didn't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either.
I don't like that idea. There's gotta be other options.
I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero.
Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at Seven.
Well, there you go, Seven. Proposal denied. Clover's right. There's gotta be a better way than this.
Find snakes. Devin made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough.
Doesn't make any sense.
Was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corner of Seven's eyes. That was when Sanders spoke.
Whoa, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet.
Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Seven had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of... Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable.
Are you... agreeing? You want to leave him here?
Santa shook his head.
Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone.
Then I don't see how it matters.
I said alone.
Huh?
I said I don't want to leave Seven alone.
He wants to stay behind. There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver.
What the hell are you...
What? You don't get it? I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more. 3 people, including Seven. I'll be leaving behind 3 people. That's my proposal. No, those are my orders.
What do you
Excuse
mean,
me?
orders? What the hell makes you think you can order us around? Who the hell's gonna listen to you?
You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice.
Excuse
What?
me.
3, 2,
1 hour left.
1.
Santa was so fast, Junpei could barely see him. It was almost like watching a dance. His feet moving like lightning. He spun and... Whoa, 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 whoa. He had June.
See? I told you.
His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile.
What?
A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze and he could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head were about to explode. Santa's sudden change in attitude. Dude, you're no longer a lad. You're not a fucking lad, dude. I thought you were a lad. I called you a lad. You're not a fucking lad. You've removed your lad status. Fuck you. Saying that he needed 2 more. A gun in his right hand, a revolver. Santa grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against her
Why?
temples.
What the hell is that?
It's a revolver, bro. Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? In the cargo hold. Junpei's question rolled in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. 7 spoke, almost as though it sensed Junpei's confusion.
The gun's from the other room.
What room?
One of the rooms behind door 6. I should have known he was gonna do this. I should have taken the gun.
Well, it's too late now, fat ass.
Damn it!
A mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face, and he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lip twitched into a slightly wider smile. Then the smile faded and he began to move. Walked back, dragging June with him. All along his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel quickly and then forced June to do the same.
Now, time for you to start following my orders. Ace, Lotus, congratulations! I've chosen you to come with me. Put your hands in the red.
3 plus 6 plus 1 plus 8 equals 18. That was what Santa had meant when he said he needed 2
Hey,
more.
you deaf? I gave you an order.
Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed frozen like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car.
Right. Fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it.
No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched, and the gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wooden splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole in the floor. There could be no doubt that the gun was real and worked.
He really shot it? But why? Santa, why are you...
Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends.
What?
You knew about the leaf words and the 4-leaf clover.
Santa's cheek twitched almost imperceptibly.
What the hell is that shit? I've got no idea.
You're lying.
Shut up! Just shut up! You stupid bitch! You want me to put a bullet in your fucking head?
Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth, his face twisted with rage. Yo, Santa, you freaking went from one of the characters I liked the most to one of the characters I liked the least in 3 seconds, bro. You counted down them yourselves. 3, 2, 1, bro. What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't... Oh, I'm angry. I feel... Clover, I'm on the same line of thought as you. I feel just as fucking betrayed. I feel just as betrayed as you. Santa, I trusted you. I called you a lad, bro. Bro, I called you a fucking lad. I thought you were a nice guy. You seem like a nice guy. But now I should have fucking realized when you were talking about how you hated faith, luck, love, and hope. Faith, luck, love, and hope. How you hated those things, bro. You should have realized you're a piece of shit.
Santa.
He snorted and shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus.
Alright, assholes. What are you still standing there for? Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day. Oh, what's the matter? Your hearing's starting to go? Going senile, maybe?
Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. June's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild and her chest heaved with every quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they gonna do? Junpei. Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate.
That's it.
Junpei's safety was the first. June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She would be shot, and she wouldn't leave the she would leave the ship alive, along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There's only one thing for
It's
Junpei
the
to
only
do.
way.
Turn into Ace and
Please.
Lotus.
Huh?
No way.
Junpei, what are you saying? If you stay here, you're going to be stuck, Junpei. And so will Clover and 7.
I know, but you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out. Right, 7?
Right. You just leave it to us.
Snake's alive, bro.
It's gonna piss me off.
Snake's
to do what
fucking
Santa
alive.
says, but
Don't worry about me either. There's still something I have to take care of. No, you can't! Ace, Lotus, don't come over! Don't worry about me, please!
June was almost crying. Junpei walked around behind Ace and Lotus. He gently placed a hand on each of their
Please.
shoulders. pushed him towards the door. They almost stumbled and then righted themselves and took another step and another. Turned around and Junpei nodded.
Go.
Oh, all right.
Fine.
Asa noticed turned around again and walked slowly towards the door where Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door marked 9. Santa smiled.
Alright, now let's get those hands on the scanner panel. What's the holdup? What? You think I'm fucking around here? I don't give a shit about this girl. The red doesn't need a person, you know? All I need is the bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your fucking hands on the scanner.
Cool, dude. You don't need to be edgy and swear over your second word, dude. Think you're a fucking cool, edgy teenager or something?
I'm not
Fuck
gonna
you,
say
dude.
it again.
Fuck you. Swearing a lot is my thing. And that's the only thing is that because I'm covering up my limited vocabulary. Shoved the revolver harder against June's head and she winced.
Fine.
He sighed defeat and placed his hand on the scanner panel. Lotus went next. Lotus glared at Santa and slammed her hand onto the scanner panel. 4 asterisks blinked on.
Good job. Now, Lotus, pull that lever. As soon as the door opens, you get your ass in there. Try anything stupid, and you know what happens, right?
Damn it.
Junpei could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble, a drum roll to welcome the chosen few.
Good. Go.
Lotus and Ace walked through the door, their eyes furious but defeated. Santa waited until they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well. 6, 7, 8, 9.
Later.
Door closed. After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air it created caused the candles on the altar to flicker and die. Okay. I have something to say. There's a 99% chance that Santa just betrayed all of us. And just what he did there was just what he did. There's a 99% chance that that happened. However, I think there is a tiny chance, just from him saying later. He said later, as if he was going to see them again. He said later, like, later. As if he was going to see them again. As if he knew they were going to get out some way. There's some part of me thinking, maybe this is because I liked Santa all the way through the game and now I'm just trying to salvage my like for him. Because, again, there's a good chance that he just fucking betrayed us, right? There's a really good chance that he just betrayed us and that's it. End of story. No complicity, nothing. But there's some part in my mind that's thinking, what if he did all this to force four people to leave? Because we were talking about leaving 7 behind, and if you leave one person behind, there's no way he's getting out, even if you find Snake's bracelet. Even if you find Snake. So what if he made it so that 3 people at least would be left behind, knowing we could maybe find Snake and get out ourselves, so he forced this hostage situation just to make us take action, instead of fucking just being like, oh, I'm evil now, haha, betray. He did this so he could take action, and do something. What if that happened? Now, again, he probably just fucking betrayed us. Like, that's it. Maybe this is my mind looking for silver linings. But maybe, like, he's just doing this so that to push us, to give some momentum. The room fell silent. Junpei, Clover, and 7 had been left behind. But Snake is still alive. Clover said that Snake is still fucking alive. So if we find him, we can get out of here. Clover looked down at her hand and traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. 7 shoved his arms into the front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for anything to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the two 9 doors. He stood in front of the door and looked at the red. Engaged. The red engaged. To the smaller door. Vacant. Red, vacant.
God.
Digital root of the remaining people was 7. 5 plus 4 plus 7, yeah. There's no possible way for them to open a door with a 9 on it. Junpei touched the surface of the door.
June.
He thought about June, about Akane Kureshiki. Was she safe? That was all that mattered to him. She was alive. She had escaped this horrible boat. That was what Junpei prayed for. 7 came up next to him, pulled off his hat and scratched his head inside.
So, what do you want to do, Junpei?
What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do?
7 opened his mouth to respond when... Please stop, no, that's still creeping me out, even now that a noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something vigorously. It wasn't mechanical, it was certainly human. Junpei and Snake 7 looked at one another.
What the hell is that?
Shh, quiet!
Clover motioned to 7 to be quiet. She put one finger to her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. I don't know why that creeps me out so much. 3 of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from.
Where is it coming from?
Maybe it's because it's 2 in the morning. That's giving me chills, bro.
Could it be?
Hey, I think it's coming from this coffin.
You're right!
Let's open it.
But how?
What are those muscles for show?
You're telling me to force it open?
Just shut up and try!
Junpei and 7 grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried and get a good grip with that little purchase they could find and pulled it with all their strength.
Damn it!
It won't even budge.
There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it.
Not another one.
Yeah, looks like it.
Do you think we have to put in the right password or it won't open?
Exactly.
I think so.
Noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder.
Whoever or whatever's inside this thing wants out. And now.
I know that. But how?
Without a passcode, I don't think there's much we can do.
They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be. That's the problem. If it was 4, maybe 5, but if it was 4, you have, how long you have? 90? You have like an hour left. If you have no other option, but you know it's 4 digits, you can brute force this thing. 0000, enter, wrong. 0001, enter, wrong. If this was 90 minutes, if you had this 1 hour, you could fucking do that. If it's 5 or more, unlocks, bro, unlocks.
Isn't there a hint somewhere?
Probably is.
Well, let's look for one.
Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews and 7 investigated the desk, but they turned up nothing.
There's nothing here!
Not making this easy, are they?
The sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room.
What's the passcode? What am I supposed to do? How can we figure it out? I need something.
Who's in there? Is it Alice or Snake? To be continued. What? Excuse me? What does that mean? Well, okay, I know what it means, but... Unfortunately, that's the wrong answer. Actually, I'm Santa. What? What? Now it is time. Let our game begin. What does it mean, actually, I'm Santa? well then, guess all that's left for me to do is... I mean, I don't see any other thing. I need to unlock these red ones now. And that's the only route left. I think the next episode will be the finale. Well, guys gotta get ready for that. This was an extra long episode because I just couldn't fucking stop playing. I just wanted to keep going. And we got 2 endings today. That's a record for this series. But there's another locked one here. Maybe another bonus ending. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. Either way. Let me just get it ready and save it for next time. 4 and 5 doors. There's still that safe that we haven't unlocked, so we'll probably have to go through the... Yeah, we've gone through the 4 door, so we have to go through the 5 door now, probably. But let me just go here. Save.
I thought we were finished with that topic.
Oh, let me just save. Cool. Okay then. That was certainly an episode. I really enjoyed that. And I have a lot I want to talk about. Now, before I even end the episode, I just need to go to the bathroom. Okay, so I just want to give my final thoughts on all that's happened before I end off this episode. So, a lot happened this episode, huh? So we had that whole thing with frickin' yo, what is it? Preview. Huh? Excuse me. I don't know what the fuck that thing is. Anyway, I know what it is. It's the thing that ended this episode, like the coffin ending off. But I'm very confused. So is Zero Santa? I don't know. It seems to be that way. That's what the preview is saying. I'm not sure. Anyway, I want to say I'm curious about a lot of things. So first of all, I'm curious about. So first, I want to know what it is about Snake's actual left arm that made it so that Clover knew that Snake wasn't actually dead. I want to know what it is about his left arm that made Clover realize that if Fake Snake had a like a broken arm, his corpse had a broken left arm, then why that meant that it wasn't a real Snake. That's what I want to know. Secondly, I want to know why does that why it is that Santa did what he did? Like, is he actually just a bad guy, or does he have a reason behind it? Like what my theory was. My theory is dumb and stuff. I want to know who's in the coffin, who's starting. Is it Snake or is it Alice? I want to know what's in the library, because this library's been mentioned many times, but we've never been to it. Never. And I don't even know where it is. So I want to know that. There's all these questions I want answered. I want to know what's in that frickin' safe. I want to know what's in that safe. I've been looking forward to learning that since the beginning of this series. I don't know, episode 3 or 2 or 3 or 4 or something. But yeah, there's so many mysteries that I want answered, bro. And I think they're finally going to get answered. Maybe. This game has been a ride from beginning to end. I knew it would be. I knew this game would be really fun to play through, and I love getting all these endings. So, thanks for watching, everybody, this lengthy episode. The next episode is probably going to be longer because, well, I only seem to have one route left, and then maybe the final, code to the coffin ending. So, I'm going to end the series on the next episode. Maybe it'll be 3 hours, or maybe not, I don't know. If you're on my channel, I hope you don't like long videos. I actually really like long videos, and I like long finales. I like giving my finales like some girth. I like that. But yeah. So, thanks for watching, everybody. And I'll see you guys next time for what is probably going to be the final episode. Bye!